Hi everyone, Kareen and Erbe here with Broken Ground, and I'm here today with my friend Kate Wilburn. We're here in Missoula, and she runs a business called Phoenix is Rising, but we're at her living classroom, which is a permaculture demonstration site here in Missoula. Kate, why don't you tell us a little bit more about this place?
Okay, I will. So 5 years ago, this was a conventional lawn. Now it's a paradise and an oasis with 101 species
Wow.
of native plants. That includes trees and vines as well as shrubs and flowering critters, and all kinds of cultivated fruits like plums as an example. But we're going to take a look at some of them on our tour here.
Yes.
So I created this as a way that I could teach, and that I could teach workshops and give tours, but also teach friends and passersby, like, look, you really, this is something that I could do in my urban yard. I could have this kind of abundance, this kind of an ecosystem, this much incredible food in this small a space, instead of using potable water and fossil fuel to create a lawn that doesn't support anything.
Amazing.
That's the notion.
Yes, and I love that notion. Tell me a little bit about, so how big is this lot? For, you said it's a small urban lot. I mean,
It's roughly a little less than a quarter of an acre.
Okay, so a quarter of an acre, and you have over 101 species, including this amazing grape right behind us that is producing an incredible amount of grapes this year. Tell me a little bit about why you put that grape arbor there.
I will, but I want to say that the 101 species is the native plants.
Oh, and then you
If we
have
included the cultivated
Yes.
species, we'd probably be up to 130 or 140.
incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
So
to
I
say.
think when we talk in permaculture about using and valuing diversity and stacking your site with species, you've really stacked,
Yeah.
so many species in a fairly small space, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us about this grape. Why is it there?
It is over the south-facing door of the house, and it's over the south-facing concrete landing outside that south door that in the summer in this climate absorbs tons of energy. So instead of that happening, this amazing grape, one on either side, shades over and provides food to boot.
Amazing. I love it. Yeah, so I'm super excited. And there's seedless grapes as well, which is even an extra bonus. So a lot of this site, and as we go on this little tour with Kate, there's a lot of attention paid to design and placement. And so we'll hear a little bit more about that soon. So let's go on our tour.
Yeah, can I tie in one more thing?
Sure.
Because my objective here is hugely about ecosystem as well as human food, because it's the ecosystem that underpins our human food. And it means that there are incredible visitors here of native birds and flowers, or butterflies and moths and insects too. And the grapevine, the grape arbor also is a bird blind, it turns out. I had western tanagers coming by for weeks last fall on their migration south to fuel up.
Oh, amazing.
With the grapes.
That is awesome. That's so exciting. Yes, exactly. Creating, we talk a lot about that, right? Is that when we're creating these food forests, we're creating a mini ecosystem, and that's what you've done here, and it's so amazing. All right, let's have a look. All right, Kate, so tell us what's going on here.
Well, this is the asparagus bed. I grew these asparagus from seed. You can see this particular row of these young plants, and intermixed with bush beans that are just starting to bear. Also, I wanted to show you, look at my pumpkin.
That's awesome. So great.
These are not jack-o'-lanterns. These are what are called hull-less seeded pumpkins, that the pumpkin seeds don't have hulls on them.
Oh my gosh.
So you just dry them and eat them.
That's amazing.
So it's really happy here in the middle of my smooth sumac
Nice.
Another wonderful native plant, and the asparagus patch.
Yeah. So you've interplanted a bunch of different species, both annual, intermixed with the perennial.
Yeah.
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 Awesome. And then tell us about, you wanted to point out maybe the buffalo berry?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
should we walk
Yeah,
around
sure.
this
We can
way?
walk around this way. We can
It's just
pan your site.
right here. One of my 3 silver buffalo berries, which is a native shrub that was very important to our indigenous people.
Yes.
It is nitrogenous, and this is the first year they've gotten big enough for me to have fruit on this one.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super drought tolerant as well, right? Yeah. So what a great plant.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we are just outside of Kate's gate a little bit. Tell us what's going on over here, Kate.
Well, in my right-of-way, including here along the alley and all around my fence, I've planted more habitat. Partly because that's what I want to look at instead of asphalt and vehicles, but also because it brings incredibly more diversity for all of the native pollinators and moths and butterflies that our whole food system is founded on.
Awesome.
So, look at this. This is smooth blue aster,
Oh, it's so
a
gorgeous.
later blooming aster. It's got an amazing kind of, I don't know what, wasp maybe? And there's a honeybee in there. If we stayed here a little bit longer, we would see an amazing variety of tiny native bees and wasps. There are also skipper butterflies, and I'm not seeing one right now, but there's one inside the fence
Right.
on the smooth blue aster, and more cool pollinators. This big yellow flower is a native sunflower. It's called Maximilian sunflower. And the goldfinches I have already heard calling. They're coming into town to snack on the seeds.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So again, this whole idea, of course, of putting native plants in. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Why do we want to put more native plants in our landscape?
Okay. For the native bees, most of us know about honeybees, right? But they don't do so much compared to, I don't know, 100, 200 species of native bees in the state, that some of them are solitary bees that nest in the ground. A few of them are like our bumblebees that are not solitary bees that also nest in the ground. The bumblebees fly really early because of their mass, and so they're incredibly important for pollination of fruit in the early spring in Montana. The native bees both pollinate so much because they're collecting nectar or pollen, and they're also collecting a lot of nectar to help fuel their hives or their broods. And my memory is that something like 90% of the plants, not just blooming plants, but plants on the entire planet, are pollinated by the native pollinators of that region. And so for us to continue having food in Montana, we don't need honeybees, they're fine. But what we need is our native bees that have co-evolved over millennia with this place, with our winters, with our summers, and with these plants.
So in this area, Kate, explain to us, we're kind of on the southernmost edge of the property, right?
Yep.
Tell us what you have going on here.
I call this the living deer hedge. I mean, this is part of it. I have urban deer just like some of you may have urban deer. Urban deer want to eat much of what's in here, right? I don't want them coming in. So on this street, I'm only allowed to legally long-term have a 4-foot fence. That is not going to keep deer out. I currently have a special temporary permit from the city of Missoula to have a 7-foot high fence until my living deer hedge becomes the 7-foot tall, 6 or 8 or 10 feet deep, dense hedge that deer will not want to penetrate.
Awesome.
So this living deer hedge, and we're going to walk up the line, is all along these fence lines and is mostly native plants like chokecherry, like woods rose, like Missouri gooseberry, like skunk bush sumac, like curly mountain mahogany, which is an evergreen, but it's not a conifer. And then one of my favorite things, the cottonwoods.
Yay!
Later on, we're going to go past a shrub willow, which I started from a cutting. And one thing that's beautiful about them is that they make natural rooting hormone. So I've used my willow to root cottonwoods. And I have probably 10 cottonwoods on this property. The city of Missoula doesn't want cottonwoods on the right-of-way because they drop branches. But cottonwoods are one of our most important keystone species in the state for our native butterflies and moths, which are what feed most of our birds' babies in the spring. So think birds, think cottonwoods. Something more than 200 different species of moths and butterflies use cottonwoods as a larval food plant. Did I want cottonwoods here? I did. So I'm playing beaver. This cottonwood, I will keep cutting down. This spring we cut it down to about a 6-foot height, and already this summer it's grown another 5 feet. So I'll play beaver again next spring and just keep it as a, you could call it a shrub cottonwood, a coppicing cottonwood, so that this ecosystem and all the creatures that love cottonwoods get to have them here. But I have something that the city isn't even going to notice, much less have an issue with.
Yeah, awesome. I love that concept.
Yeah, this is a serviceberry. This is an antelope bitterbrush.
Which has a beautiful, I came here in the spring. When I was here in the spring, it was so gorgeous. It was beautiful, pale yellow flowers. Yeah, such a gorgeous plant.
Yeah, and all of these that we've talked about are native plants.
Yeah, great.
This is a ceanothus, a sanguineus, red stem ceanothus, that the leaves make a great tea. Again, beautiful flowers. Yeah, just one of the variety that I have in this hedge. The big grass there is basin wild rye. That's our largest Montana native bunch grass.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. These are native red raspberries.
Nice.
And what else shall we look at, Kareen? Oh, the American plums.
Yes.
These are plums, but they're not cultivated domestic plums. These are our native plum in Montana called American plums.
And they're these super tasty small little plums, which are so nice. And the tree itself is fairly drought tolerant, being that it's native, right? Yeah. So another double bonus where you have this edible tree, and it's drought tolerant, it's native, kind of win-win. Yeah.
And eventually it'll get to be more of a thicket and a shrub. But this little critter's, I don't know, maybe 4 years in the ground.
And is this the first year it's producing? Nice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So I'm looking forward to more.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's continue along this deer hedge. So we have a currant right here, right?
Golden currant.
A golden currant. Again, more native plants.
And this is a chokecherry, which we already looked at, but look at the leaves. Do you have anything on your place that has these interesting leaves? This is evidence of leafcutter bees.
And you know, as far as, and we talked about this a little bit beforehand, they don't really have, beyond just making your leaves look a little crenellated, they don't have that much of an impact. And again, we're supporting the native bee population. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
And so then we got more currants, more wild rose.
Another cottonwood.
Excellent.
Another serviceberry. A few zucchini squash.
Just in the random,
Perennial vegetables.
Exactly.
Like the
sea kale. Yeah, I put some of that in my garden this year as well. So again, you know, looking for opportunities to, you know, Kate has both the, you know, she has annuals intermixed, but if there's ever a way that we can add perennials that take the place of annuals, you know, that of course is ideal. And then, yes, of course, emerging from the deer hedge, tell us a little bit about what this structure is that you have here. It's a very useful structure.
Right. I mean, you might recognize it as a wheelbarrow, right? But the wheelbarrow is just the way that I'm making this solar radiant dehydrator mobile so that I can track the sun. Because this morning I needed to face it that way, right? To the east. And then I've been tracking it all day. Now we're catching the sun in the west.
Yeah.
Because we're in the afternoon. So, shall we look inside?
Yes, I'm so
and
excited.
I also want to talk about radiant dehydrators versus convective.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, amazing.
You can
Look at those
imagine how these
apricots.
dried apricots might taste.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the design of some homesteaders up in the upper Midwest, Minnesota or Wisconsin, who went through in their off-grid place multiple designs of solar dehydrators. Most of them are convective. That means they heat up air and move hot air over your produce. This is radiant. It's collecting in this brown layer through the glazing. You can see it on the backside. It's collecting radiant energy, which is the kind of energy we get from fireplaces and from the heat of the sun. It's powerful and it's more efficient.
Interesting.
Cool, huh?
Yes.
And I built this myself, but the Missoula Urban Demonstration Project here in Missoula may be inspired to offer a workshop next year for people who aren't maybe quite as handy.
Yeah.
But it's stainless steel screen in this layer, and then these come out. And yeah, that's
I love that. And so how long does it take, like how long have those been dehydrating in there?
This is their second day.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Cool, huh?
Super effective.
Yeah.
And efficient.
Yeah.
A way to not use fossil fuel, but and also a way not using fossil fuel while preserving some of your harvest, which is also, you know, really advantageous.
Right.
I love that design.
Right.
And the fact that you can track it and take full advantage of the sun for a lot of the day.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I can share this, the link to these plans with Kareen to put on our website.
Yeah, that would be
So-
fabulous.
See?
So now we're gonna track it. Oh, fabulous. Yes. Delicious dried apricots. So good. All right, tell us about this beauty.
Okay. This is Western White Clematis, one of my favorite native vines in Montana. It's a plant that's dioecious, meaning some are male, some are female. This is one of the ladies. That's why she's got these big puffy flower heads that are going to turn into seed clusters on her. In a minute, we're going to go look at one of her husbands.
Excellent.
She's polygamous, I guess, in the other way.
Because this is the only female that you have
Yeah.
on the site.
Yeah.
Excellent. Let's
With
have a
about
look.
7 guys.
Excellent. Lucky her.
So here's the husband, as I called him, of the lady clematis that we just visited. This
Nice.
is one plant,
Incredible.
probably 4 years old, but look at the spread. And I'm so excited about this because I think it's important to shade our homes, especially on the south face, which is what this is, and on the west face, which is what that is. And I've got this single vine that I've trained to shade all of these south-facing windows and that west-facing kitchen window.
That's great. Again, and then in the wintertime, of course, all of this dies back. You have the sun in the winter, but you don't get it in the summer. You're decreasing your cooling costs, making the house more comfortable.
Yeah.
Amazing. With plants.
Yeah.
Even better. So
Yeah.
tell us about these amazing plants right here, too.
This is our only native nut, except for the Baroque, which is only native in one county in eastern Montana. This is a beaked hazelnut. Corylus cornuta is its Latin name, and it has these nuts.
That look beaked, hence the name.
Yeah, and so they're not quite ripe yet. They'll dry, the husks will dry, and then I'll be able to pick them off and shuck them, and the nut is inside. And I've got 2 of them. They have just taken off this year. Again, these are about 4 years old. And they're getting a little bit huge. I've actually started calling this Kate's Jungle.
As you should, yes. So much going on here. Yeah. I mean, and they look super healthy and they love it here. They like a little bit more moisture and shade, right? So what a great spot for them. Clearly they're happy.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. So just next to these beautiful beaked hazelnuts is a native shrub willow. The big tall tree willows are not native to Montana. This, like the cottonwood, is a really important keystone species for our butterflies and moths that feed all of our birds, babies in the spring. And this is the one that I started 4 years ago, I think, from a cutting, put it in the ground, and woohoo! Look
Amazing.
at it. And so this is what I can take clippings from in the spring, put in the water, and use the natural rooting hormone to root all of my, and it is what I use to root all the cottonwoods that we've seen.
That's fantastic. And what is the, do you know the scientific name?
My son Shane thinks it's either a coyote willow or a sandbar willow.
Okay, wonderful.
And I don't know their botanical names right off.
Yeah, I love that you're just using that as your rooting hormone. Again, the more we design intentionally these spaces, the lower the inputs every year of what you need to bring in. Fantastic.
And should we want to weave a basket or basket tree to hold the American plums or the beaked hazelnuts, guess what? Yeah.
Awesome. Multifunctional plant. So
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
So, Kate, we're kind of rounding the corner of the deer hedge. Tell us what else is going on here.
Yeah. Well, we already met the lady clematis, but we haven't talked about the black hawthorn.
Awesome.
Which is thorny. Keep those deer noses out, but also is medicinal and native and important in all those ways. So that's this young tree. And then we round the corner with more woods rose and more, we haven't talked about ocean spray as a native shrub, more sumac in the corner.
Great.
And then we've got cutleaf coneflower here, which we also haven't talked about. It's what the goldfinches are coming in to eat seed from right now.
Nice, nice.
Underneath, a non-native, a peach.
A beautiful peach
A
tree.
winter hardy.
I wish we could grow these in
tree.
Bozeman. It's just too cold, but look at those beauties on this tree. Yeah, so mixing, natives, predominantly natives with non-natives, which is awesome. So you have food for the bees and the birds, but also food for yourself. So great.
Yeah, and we've sort of mentioned it in passing, but as many native plants as I can that also have human food value, I've included.
Yeah.
Showy milkweed is great for the monarchs, but guess what? You can eat many parts of the showy milkweed plant as human food, like young asparagus, like the immature pods, when you steam them, are sort of like cheese.
Ooh.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
We talked about the hawthorn, the Missouri gooseberries we went past along the way, and the golden currants, but they're all edible to humans. The rose hips for medicine. So I love including as much foraging
Yes.
possibility with the native plants, who are also doing all the other ecosystem benefits, in addition to the cultivated gooseberries and red currants and peaches and
Right.
so forth.
So food that we're familiar with, but then also food that we should become more familiar with because it's way more resilient ultimately. And if we can introduce more of our diet, have that as more of our diet ultimately, long term, that's gonna be, and possibly more nutritious, for us.
Likely.
So wonderful.
Yeah.
Any other species you want to point out here in this continual
there's
deer
the
hedge?
Alder. We might just continue along. This is the deer hedge on the north side of the property. We've got more of the big grasses. This is a really nice specimen, the basin wild rye.
Great.
But this alder, gray alder, Almus incana, is nitrogen fixing, likes a little bit of water, so she's got a drip line, and is a beauty, and is again really important, probably up there in terms of keystone species for butterflies and moths that use this plant as a larval food plant.
Amazing. So if just by way of review, it would be the cottonwoods, the alders,
the willows. In terms of flowering plants, we haven't talked about the Missouri goldenrod, but the goldenrods, as far as herbaceous plants, are high on the list for herbaceous plants, like maybe 50 species of butterflies and moths use it.
Awesome.
Whereas it's over 200 for the cottonwood and probably for the willow, and I'm not sure where the alder lands.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great. So thank you so much, Kate, for giving us a little bit of a window into your site. Definitely encourage you all, especially if you're in the Missoula area, to get in touch with Kate through her website, to come learn from her, to come help on this property, because of course this isn't agriculture was never meant to be a solitary act, and so doing it in community is so important. Any other things you want to add, Kate?
Probably three.
Yeah.
One is to tie on to that. So I'm actually looking for an intern next year, someone who wants to work with me and learn, sort of a work-study kind of exchange. The second is what you just spoke to, community. Not only have I built community by way of being out here and chatting with a passerby who says, "What are you doing here?"
What's this crazy landscape you've created? Yeah.
Right. And so I met, Bo and Mulan, her dog, and countless people. But in a broader sense of community, the relationships that I've nurtured here with neighbors across my neighborhood, within a 1 mile radius, let's say, and to have beautiful food, to say, "Come on over. I've got Jerusalem artichokes to harvest and share and send home, roots and to eat and to plant with you. Come on over. Share some of my red raspberries. Take some home. Come on over. There are the grapes now. Come on over this fall. I've got so many seed species. Get cuttings from my red currant if you want." I love sharing, and I think I think community is our greatest security in terms of knowing each other, in terms of mutual aid, in terms of sharing back and forth, and to have this land and this landscape be an inspiration for that is easy and lovely.
Yeah. And there was a third thing.
There was a third thing. It was hope. Because this creates incredible resilience for food, and with climate chaos that I think is going to deepen, with all the challenge that's going on in our larger country that is probably going to affect not only climate but food. But also I noticed that it seems many people across the community and the state are worried on some deep level, whatever their particular worries are, and whoever they voted for. And so this kind of way to connect with each other, I think creates, for me, and I see that it creates incredible hope and inspiration for everyone that I know, because it's concrete, it's tangible, and it's something we can eat, and it feeds our souls.
And it gives people agency, that 5 years ago this was just bare lawn, grass, nothing, and now you have over 100 species of things that feed you and feed the community and feed our non-human species. So thank you so much for all of the work that you do, for being an example here in the Missoula community, and I appreciate you, others I'm sure in this community too. And to you all, thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye.